Welcome to the IDP Trade Show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, here in the Sode Shack tonight. Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds, we are back, boys. First time since August doing the trade show. But, Bobo, I feel like this time of year, we're going into week 8. Teams are either packing it in, playing for 2025, or they're making that playoff push. So, in healthy leagues, the trades should be flying right now. So, it feels like a good time to jump on and talk some trades.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a tough year for your boy in a couple leagues. I've had a good couple years, but this one trains off the tracks in probably one or two.
So Bobo might be making some trades, Addy. You and I are duking it out right now in the division of our main league.
That's right. You're either rebuilding or contending.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. So what we're going to do tonight, like we do every time we have the IDP Trade Show, we are going to be breaking down your trades live on the show. We've got about 8 or 10 here in the StreamYard loaded up, ready to go. But if you're watching live, thanks for tuning in. Drop your trades in the comments, and we'll break it down live on the show. That's what this show is all about. It is driven by you, the viewer. So make sure you get in there. Drop your trades, share as much detail as possible, league size, any unique scoring quirks like Superflex, tight end premium, PPR, big play, tackle heavy, whatever. Anything that you think can give us a better idea of the context in which you've made your trades.
And let us know your side so we can just roast you.
That's right. Make sure we can say nice things about you, and thank you for dropping your trades in the comments. We appreciate everyone tuning in. We got a comment right off the gate. Did you pay someone to get on here and compliment you? Conjay3, that Bobby fella, handsome as always.
Wow.
Who is this that you owe money to on Venmo?
I cannot
disclose
that information, Josh.
Great start.
Great start. Off to a great start.
Smart.
So he does look hot.
He does look. It's a nice. I like the jacket. I'm a jacket guy.
Double jacket.
Yeah. It's you're looking good. University
Sweater
of Kentucky.
weather.
It is sweater weather.
Sure.
It is sweater weather. No
jacket
doubt.
off or jacket on?
Definitely jacket off, right?
I agree.
I mean, what are we, 72 degrees in here right now? So
We're feeling pretty good.
I'm cozy. I'm a cozy guy.
That
He's a
jacket
cozy
may be
guy.
coming off.
Yeah.
May be coming off. Well, thank you all for tuning in. This has been the IDP Trade Show. No, let's jump right in, boys. We got a lot to talk about. First up here from Twitter, Dynasty First. Who do you think wins this trade in a 12-team Dynasty IDP? We don't know his side, but 12-team Dynasty IDP, which side do you like? Bobby Okereke and Brian Burns, or DeMarvion Overshown, Will McDonald, and Andrew Van Ginkel? Addy, we'll start with you on this one.
Man, that's a fun trade right there.
It is a fun trade.
I mean, I kind of like that bottom of this deal, the DeMario Overshown, Will McDonald, Andrew Van Ginkel. I mean, I feel like Andrew Van Ginkel, he can match Brian Burns for the next 2 years as far as production, and maybe even outproduce him. We talked about Bobby Okereke in our last show. I don't trust him long term for Dynasty, but I do think he's gonna bounce back and have a better second half. This is right down the middle, in my opinion.
It's a very close trade. I think Brian Burns is the best piece in the trade. And, DeMarvion Overshown has been a nice little story in Dallas. Do we trust it long term? I don't trust it as much. I don't think Bobby Okereke has like this Fred Warner-type longevity and shelf life. But I think he's probably going to have that 3-down role for this year and probably next year. But I think, like you said, Van Ginkel can give you Brian Burns-type production. And I think Overshown versus Okereke in a Dynasty League is pretty close in my opinion. So I'll just take the extra piece in Will McDonald, Bobo.
Yeah, who has 8 sacks right now.
Yes, second behind Dexter Lawrence in sacks.
Yep, pretty simple to me, honestly.
You like the second side better?
I do. I like Overshown's game. You know, he's kind of got a little Willie Gay, a little torn Achilles guy in San Fran.
Dre
He got a little Dre Greenlaw to him. You know, he's got a lot of pop to his tackles. You know, and we kind of know what we know at this point with Bobby Okereke. Does it turn around? Does the career get any better for Okereke? Probably not, you know. I think we've probably seen the best from him. I'd kind of like to take my shot on Overshown. And then it's basically Brian Burns for McDonald and Van Ginkel. I'm cool riding with McDonald and Van Ginkel.
Give me 2 guys I can start
for sure,
as opposed to 1 guy I can start.
Both those guys are top 5 right now.
Exactly, yeah.
And Van Ginkel,
You know, and even before Brian Burns got to New York, there was kind of that whole thing in Carolina where it was like, could he take a step this year? Could he take a step this year? And we kind of keep waiting for him to, like, get to that Nick Bosa type category. And I don't know that that's in the career arc for Brian Burns. I think he's a solid D end. I just don't think he's like, he doesn't belong in the elite tier to me.
No, he's that second tier down.
I will say about this trade though, if someone sent us this like before the season starts, this sounds insane.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
like it does.
Week one, it seems like a landslide. Bobby O and Brian Burns for Overshown, McDonald, and AVG.
Just shows you how much things can change.
So now here is one question though, kind of alluding to what you're saying, Brian. I almost called you Brian.
Brian Burns.
I am Brian Burns. Thank you.
The new Brian Burns.
I am the real Brian Burns.
Does Hassan Reddick coming back affect Will McDonald at all?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
Because
so
Jermaine
either.
Johnson's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to be your boy nose ring, Michael Clemens, who gets bumped down right in the snap share.
Yeah,
You're not going to sit Will McDonald down.
This homie has 8 sacks right now and looks great.
It's true.
I mean, we know about his deficiencies in the run game, but again, he's young. He's working it out. I like him a lot. I think he's a guy. I mentioned it before. I think he could get over 15 sacks multiple times in his career. It looks like he's trending that way this season already. So
Okay, I think
fan.
we're all in agreement. We like the side with Overshown, McDonald,
That
and
is
Van
crazy.
Ginkel. Let's move to the second trade here from our boy Sinvin. Vinny on Twitter. He said this was a lame one, but it's the most recent one he had, so thank you, Vinny, for sending this in. Samaje Perine, he gave Samaje Perine the week after Pacheco went out for Trent McDuffie with a 2-year contract in a 16-team contract CB-required league.
yeah, I love this. This is like those little microtransactions you make that don't seem like much, but you'll be happy to have Trent McDuffie, I think, at some point in the next 3 years. Like, he's going to have like a top. He struggled this season, of course. He was, pretty hyped up, finished really well last year. Doesn't seem like he's going to live up to expectations, but he's a great player. He's going to stick around.
Exactly.
He's going to have one of these years where he gets lucky with interceptions, gets some sacks, tackles. So, yeah, I'm still a fan of Trey McDuffie. And this is Samaje Perine. Like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I think, Bobo, this was just a great example of Vinny cashing in on the Samaje Perine hype right after the Pacheco injury and turning it into a nice little player who should have plenty of staying power.
Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco, I love him so much. The Chiefs really miss him, I think. I think you need to cash out on all of those Chiefs guys. Samaje Perine, you should have cashed in on him. Carson Steele, you should have cashed in on him. Colton
Steele, baby.
Kareem Hunt this week, you need to cash in on that because I just don't think there's anything there worth holding on to. I think even Clyde Edwards-Helaire could get some run.
When he balls out, cash out.
Yeah,
Cash out.
absolutely.
Just keep cashing out
That's right.
on every asset.
You should be a millionaire by week 17.
Yeah, you should have cashed out and turned your whole dynasty roster around.
6 first
He's
for all those
traded
dumb running
every
backs.
single Chiefs running
Which
back.
segues beautifully into our next trade, boys. Our guy, Andrew Preston, who you have famously said on the IDP show, Addy, you want to wring his neck when you're in a best ball draft with him.
Good drafter. Good mind.
Very good drafter, very sharp. Andrew said this is a six trades. He's taken over a rebuild with this team about a month ago after the other manager traded picks away, never paid, and ghosted the league. That sucks. It happens. It's the importance of having good people in your league. A little more context here. 12-team league, start 11, both sides. Balanced scoring. I'm curious on these six trades and the work done with the team. His goals, get his picks back that the other manager traded away, probably because this team's going to be pretty bad. It's going to be the 101, the 201, the 301, so on and so forth. I wanted to get my picks back and get guys on IR or get picks. So let's go to the first trade, boys, and we'll just kind of give Andrew a rundown and then what we think overall with the direction of the team. So trade number 1, he traded away Jermaine Pratt and Jalen Tolbert for another Jalen Naylor, DeMarvion Overshown, a 2025 third and a 2025 fifth. So Pratt and Tolbert for Naylor, Overshown, a third and a fifth. What do we think about this one, Addy?
I mean, a lot of it rides on DeMarvion Overshown being like relevant and having staying power for like the next 5 years, because otherwise it feels a little light. I do like Jalen Naylor, but again, like he's the wide receiver 3 there, like probably the wide receiver 4.
You ever going to start this guy?
Probably not. And I mean, this is it's a deep league, but it's not really deep enough in my opinion. So, and it does. Jermaine Pratt is linebacker 2 right now, so it looks, that also makes it look a little light. But I mean, This feels fair. Like I feel like it's fine. Like what can you expect? Can you expect to get a second for Jermaine Pratt? No, I don't think so.
You get a third and a fifth plus Overshown.
Yeah,
I think it's fair. I think Pratt, in my mind, is the best piece in this deal by a considerable margin. But like you said, it's a fair cash out.
Yeah, I think so.
Get a little younger at the position, Bobo. Get a couple picks. You want the Pratt side?
If this is a return league, I want the Pratt and the Tolbert side. It's a little light for me. It's
Okay.
not too far, but it's just kind of, I don't know. For Pratt and Tolbert, I would want to be. You're right, Adam. It does kind of weighs on Overshown. If Overshown all of a sudden pops, then it looks like, okay, this is fine. But if not, then it looks way too light.
Yeah. Let's move to trade number 2. This one is insane. I don't think I've ever seen a trade like this in all the times that we've done this show. Trade number 2, traded away Jordan Love and for Jonathan Grenard and the following picks. Now, if you're watching this, you see the banner on the screen. It says 2025, 3rd through 6th. That means he got picks in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th round. And in 2026 and in 2027, he got 1st through the 6th round. And then in 2027, 1st through the 6th round. That is 16 picks plus Jonathan Grenard for Jordan Love. I don't know kind of what I'm missing here. You're giving me 16 draft picks and Jonathan Grenard for a quarterback?
Yeah, that's a great cash out. I mean, this is obviously super flex,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
He didn't mention that in the
It's gotta be.
rundown,
It has to be.
but it's got to be,
Has to
right?
be. And I mean, yeah, that's great. I mean,
16 picks.
You're a Jordan Love fan.
Yeah, Jordan Love is great. 16 draft picks. Have you ever seen one player move for 16 draft picks?
no, I haven't.
You worried at all about Jordan Love? I don't know. I just kind of keep thinking he's been pretty good.
He's been awesome, but I keep feeling like he's gonna regress.
I've got that
massively,
feeling too.
you know, and like we start hearing the conversation. You know, I don't want to get too far into it because this will get played when he's a Hall of Famer. in
Yeah,
10
Brad
years.
Brad Gilbert.
But I don't trust him.
So Jordan Love is Herschel Walker now, the famous Herschel Walker trade in the NFL where it was like 8 draft picks the Cowboys sent or whatever, or got. I don't understand this one. I mean, good for Andrew somehow getting 16 picks from this guy, plus just Jonathan Grenard, which is just my favorite part of this trade. Yeah, just throw Jonathan Grenard in there.
Yeah.
As a little cake topper. So yeah, I mean, this is great. Congratulations on getting 16 picks over the next 3 years, Andrew.
I mean, what if Jordan Love ends up being like a top 5 quarterback for the next 10 years, though?
You have 16 picks to go get
Yeah,
the next
surely you
Jaden
can-
Daniels or
Surely you can find a quarterback.
yeah, whoever's the new hotness.
But the other part of this too, though, is the position that you're in the first round is also like vital. Like there's a huge difference between the 102 and the 110 to me.
Yeah, if this guy's trading 16 picks, he's probably like the 11th or 12th pick.
Yeah, he's probably pretty good.
pushing for the title.
He's already got a super. He's got Josh Allen at quarterback. Now he's got
Yeah,
Love.
yeah,
And
exactly.
and he could run this league for
Yeah.
the next little bit.
Could be good. All right, so trade number 3. Aiden Hutchinson went down. I traded away Fred Warner for Aiden Hutchinson. This was one of the most interesting trades for me in this whole slate here. So the Hutchinson manager trades Hutchinson to Andrew for Fred Warner.
Wow, man, I don't like it. I like Fred Warner way too much, and I do worry a little bit about Aiden Hutchinson long term now.
I wish it wasn't Fred you had to give up.
Yeah,
Could you have given up?
I mean, I feel like Fred's gonna be. We're gonna be talking about him when he's 35.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the same thing about Bobby Wagner, Levante David, and he's gonna be. Those guys are both top 10 right now.
Yeah.
at 34, 35.
Could you have given Foyer plus a third or something for Aiden Hutchinson?
And honestly, it's harder to find a Fred Warner than it is an Aiden Hutchinson
Almost
right now.
impossible to find a Fred.
You
Warner.
know?
Like, I mean,
How many linebackers do we feel good about in Dynasty for the next 5 years?
Fred
and
Warner.
Roquan.
That's it.
Maybe Roquan. I mean, Roquan.
That's it.
He hasn't played like I think Roquan needs to play in the last couple of years. I honestly think that
But he'll
Fred,
remand you, like he reminded you last
Yeah,
night.
for sure.
What was
But I think
Here's 14, 15
Yeah,
tackles.
exactly.
and a
I
bunch of
think
big
Fred
plays.
stands alone though. I think Fred is pretty much just
There's
like,
a lot of good edge rushers
from
in
an
the league
age
right now.
perspective. What is Fred? 27.
Yeah.
You know, what if somebody told you get 8 more years of this type of Fred Warner?
Be pretty nice.
It's kind of crazy to say, but you can find an edge rusher like an Aiden, like the next Aiden Hutchinson. We're gonna not the pre-injured Aiden Hutchinson, but like if we get 80% of Aiden Hutchinson, like, you can find a guy like
Yes.
that. Jared
Yeah.
Verse,
Agree.
you know.
Yeah.
Any of those rookies, yeah.
All those were like Latu was a second round pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tons of examples like that.
Yeah, and
Even Aiden
you
when he
just
came
got
out.
16 picks.
Yeah.
I heard
So-
this next edge class coming up is supposed to be good too. Not
It
to
is,
get into rookie
yes,
talk.
yes.
Yeah, it's true, man. You did just get a ton of picks. It's like, man, Fred is someone that's going to be a mainstay
There's no reason to trade
for
Fred.
the next half decade.
You just picked up 16 picks.
Andrew's just frantically sending.
Yeah.
Yes, he's like,
offers right
undo
now.
trade. I fat-fingered that one, commish. I traded away. This is trade number 4. I traded away Matthew Stafford, Quay Walker, and a 2025 fourth for Derek Carr, Pat Freiermuth, and my 2025 second back, which should be the 201. So any picks he's getting back, that tells me he expects to be the 101.
Yeah, I'm okay with this, I guess.
Stafford, Walker, and a fourth
Again,
for
it is a
Carr,
super flex.
Freiermuth, and a second. So you
Well,
down.
you're getting Carr back, though.
Well,
that's good.
it is. I would say that's a downgrade in terms of the QB. You pick up Freiermuth, Quay Walker. You know, I think we've said he's kind of like Patrick Queen. He'll probably get a second job, even if it's not with the Packers.
Yeah.
So the real piece here you're going after is just the
201.
201.
I think so, too. And
Yeah.
but Carr's not just a throw-in. Like, that's a solid quarterback that'll be fine. He'll
Mm-hmm.
linger around for probably another 3-4 years,
Mm-hmm.
get opportunities. So he can be a spot start for you.
Yeah.
And if a great quarterback to have as a rebuilder, just not good enough, right?
Yeah. So do we like this for Andrew getting the 201?
I do like this one.
This one feels good.
You did
I mean,
better on this one, Andrew.
We were talking a little bit before we went on Mike Bobo. Stafford, the trade rumors, is he going to retire? Like, why else are the Rams wanting to move a franchise quarterback at this point? So, if something is going on, if there is smoke to this fire, Carr plus Muth plus 201.
Pat F is nice, too, with Russell Wilson, helming the offense.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have to do this. If you're rebuilding, it makes sense. But Stafford is a question mark. Is he a cash out? Maybe. Is he a nice buy for like nothing right now? Also, maybe too.
I saw a lot of Brian Thomas Jr. being drafted at 201, though.
Yeah.
A lot of Michael Penix.
Yep.
Yep. Some of those other Bo Nix. Like I feel like you can do a lot with that 201.
Ricky Pearsall, Adnan Mitchell.
Xavier Worthy, was he there at 201? Or
Worthy was earlier. He was probably 4 or 5.
Keon
super
Coleman
flexible.
probably
Yes,
at some
there you go.
spots,
Yeah. Xavier Leggett. Most of the running backs were gone at that point, but you could have maybe gotten
201's a
like
nice
Jalen
piece.
Wright.
Yeah. But also you can just capitalize on people being excited about these rookies and trade these picks.
But
right?
also, too, at the 201, you were staring at any of the edge rushers this last year,
Yep.
any of the linebackers. Don't ever recommend you to really get that high on a linebacker. But, I mean, like Will Anderson, Latu, Verse.
No, we have one example in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Roquan Smith being like a first-round linebacker
That paid off.
that hit and
Yep.
held his value.
Yep. Next trade here from Andrew. He traded away Nick Chubb, Patrick Queen, speaking of those first-round linebackers, Travis Etienne, 2026 first for his 2025 first, which will presumably be the 101 in 2025, a late 2025 second, and a late 2025 third.
Yeah.
So Nick Chubb, Patrick Queen, Etienne, and his 2026 first for the 101 next year,
No, that's...
a late second and a late third.
I don't like what he wrote here at the end because I think this is a huge win. I like Nick Chubb. I like the whole story. Nick Chubb doesn't have it anymore from what I saw last weekend. Pat Queen, I think, is on a roller coaster down. I don't know if it goes back up for Pat Queen. I think you're pretty much seeing it. And then,
Same thing here.
These are all assets that are declining.
Yeah, Travis
right?
Etienne, you can say what you want to about his pass catching ability and, there with Trevor Lawrence and everything, but Tank Bigsby is a guy. I mean, that guy looks like a vastly better runner than Travis
Which is crazy
Etienne.
because Bigsby was awful last year.
So now when Etienne is healthy, what are you looking at with him? Like maybe you get him on some second down snaps now and then some third down looks and whatnot, but that's going to be a mess moving forward. Moving to 26 first is whatever. Going to get the 25 first of you're looking at maybe like Ashton Jeanty. You're looking at Travis Hunter. You're looking at Tet McMillan. You're looking at Luther Burden, Amike
He's just showing
Ibuka.
off right now.
I mean, there's literally there's going to be 5 to 6 really good guys in the beginning of that 25 class that could be pretty fun. And then you can replace those other guys with this second and this third.
Well, and also we don't know the context here if the trade that netted him 16 picks if this is the first round in 2026 that he's sending. If it's not, he already has another 2026 first, so he's not like he's cashing out unless that was the one he sent. We don't know the full context here.
But he's got a treasure chest of first-round picks and additional picks now. So,
that.
Tons of flexibility, tons
Wield
of
that.
Yep.
Last pick here, trade 6, Juwan Jennings for a third in 2025.
That's fine.
That's a nice little cash out.
Yep.
So, we'll go to his questions real quick before we give thoughts.
Well, we're
on,
San Fran, though. I mean, are they cursed?
They might
That wide
be.
receiver room is cursed.
I saw a tweet that said their healthiest receiver starting this Sunday just got shot 50 days ago.
Yeah.
How did Ricky Pearsall get shot and come back before CMC?
Yeah.
That's not great.
Yeah.
Not great, Bob.
CMC might be done.
Maybe.
Might be Achilles tendonitis. That's a interesting
That's bad.
thing.
That's
What are they,
tendonitis.
3-4?
Not good.
4-3, the Niners?
I don't know.
I think 3-4. I don't think they have a winning record right now.
Yeah, wow.
So we mentioned Hassan Reddick a little earlier with the Will McDonald trade. I am looking to trade away Reddick now that he is going to be active for the year. What is his value?
Anything.
Get a third?
Try and get chance. I mean, maybe some dope, but yeah, try and get a third. But I mean, I feel like you could maybe
Settle
get a
for
fourth.
Yeah, settle for a fourth.
Fourth is good enough for me. You
Okay.
know.
Wouldn't you like to maybe?
Let him play a couple weeks.
I would
guess.
say
Yeah.
though,
You got time.
sometimes when you take over these teams, you don't always get picks. I mean, sometimes maybe go and grab a player. You know, I don't know who you could trade a Reddick for right now. Maybe somebody who,
Could you get somebody young?
Yeah, could I trade?
Deion Henley.
Yeah, like someone like that, maybe.
You know?
a Tyke Smith. Yeah,
Trenton Simpson.
Yeah,
You know, somebody who's
Yeah.
second year linebacker.
underperforming. The snaps aren't really consistent yet.
For sure.
because that stuff will turn
Reddick
around.
for a Peyton Wilson.
Yeah, that would be nice. I feel like Peyton Wilson owners are pretty sharp and
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, you're right. There are a few names in IDP that's like you don't just have Peyton Wilson. You don't just have Ivan Pace.
Right, dude.
You know,
Yeah, we don't talk about it's an easy currency to say somebody is worth X pick. That's just something that translates across every league type, really, with slight variations based on like Superflex or whatever. But yeah, player for player deals. If you can cash out on an aging Hassan Reddick for one of these younger IDPs that maybe hasn't popped yet, but has a really nice opportunity, like a Peyton Wilson, I think that would be a really great cash out as well. His other question here.
Could you get Chop Robinson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking like a Derek Hall would have been a good example of like trading for a guy like that last season or someone like a Hassan Reddick type. Because you see what Derek Hall is doing now. We could see the same thing with a guy like that.
Agreed.
Yeah. Last question from Andrew. Also curious thoughts about trading away Kyle Van Noy and or Minka Fitzpatrick. He has both of these guys. Not sure if they will still be viable for his team by the time I am ready to compete.
Why don't you answer this? Because you were airing your frustrations with Minka this week to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get anything for Minka, he is droppable. I wish I had someone better to start than Minka Fitzpatrick. He's been awful this year. So, yes, if you can cash out on Minka, do it.
I would just wait to hopefully see it turn around a little bit.
Can you get a pop week or two?
Because right now, the value is not there.
It's
at all.
nothing. I mean, he's droppable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe you could get a fourth or a fifth just based on the name value.
So yeah, he's someone that I'd probably give a couple more weeks just to hope that a big play happens, and then maybe I can get a fourth. I doubt you can get a fourth. Maybe I can get a fifth. I don't know. You can get a fifth right now for him.
Yeah. Kyle Van Noy, he's one of those guys that I would rather just hold if I can't get fair market value for him. Because
so-
you still need people to play on your team this season.
And if you're on sleeper, you can get the dual desi, which
Yes.
is nice.
Well, and we love him, but I mean, people are just going to be like, he's the older guy.
Exactly.
You know, how much value can you really, extract out of a guy like
Yep.
KVN?
Yep, it's a good point. I think he's more valuable to your team.
he's just a hold.
Yep.
Classic hold because you're not going to get the market value.
Probably no one's going to come give you a fourth. They're going to lowball you.
So what do we think here? We know Andrew is sitting on this treasure trove of picks now. We didn't like the Fred move, but he's got all these picks. He's got the 101 next year. He's got some seconds and some thirds next year. I don't know that I necessarily want to make that many draft
Yeah,
picks,
go-
right?
go
I
to-
want to flip some of these guys for players.
Go to the IDPshow.com, get in Adam's Dynasty ranks, and, start looking through some of these linebackers and some of these Chop Robinsons that you could maybe send a 6-round pick is really deep.
Yeah.
In a 12-team league, a 6th-round pick is not going to happen. I mean, it's just
because we're 12 teams, start 11-11, and we go through 5.
Yeah, I mean, and how many of those 4th and 5th-round guys ever really work
They
out?
don't.
You know?
Rare.
It's just a dart throw.
Absolutely.
It's a lottery ticket.
So, I mean, that's
Fred
what
was a 5th.
yeah, that's true. It happens. It does happen.
Dart throws.
I will say sometimes, too, in the orphan leagues, like in the situations where you take over these teams and you're like trying to completely like rebuild and everything, don't just have youth. Like there is a lot of benefit to holding a guy like Kyle Van Noy, you know, grabbing a guy like Khalil Mack, and just, you know, you need some veterans too, because the veterans sometimes score better than these younger Chop Robinsons and the, you know, Nealons.
Hold some of those picks in reserve to
Yeah.
go shop for veterans when you are ready to compete.
Yeah, keep you some picks.
Yes,
Yeah.
don't blow them all.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
will. We will highlight who you should be selecting. I mean, I personally love me some 4ths and some 5ths. I mean, I can't tell you how many Trevin Wallace's I got in the 5th, how many Will McDonald's I got in the 4th the year before. Deion Henley was a 4th. Tons of examples I'm missing, but yes, dude, there is just so much value there in the 4th and 5th if you know what you're doing. So you don't need to keep all the picks, but definitely keep like a handful.
sure.
You know, I want to have like 2 or 3 darts in each round, especially if I'm rebuilding.
All right, so we have our first trade here off of the comments, and it is an interesting one, boys. All right, Rachaad White, and this is Fant. So this would be Noah Fant.
Yeah.
So
Not
Rachaad,
George.
yeah, not John or boy George.
Shout out.
my brain goes to WKU legend George Fant when I see Fant. Rachaad White plus Noah Fant for Lloyd. I'm gonna assume that's probably Marshawn Lloyd because the next player is Foye Oluokun.
Could be Devin.
Dynasty
Could
League.
be Devin, yeah. Could be
Well,
Lloyd
I
and
don't.
Foye.
I guess you could trade for both Jaguars linebackers. If you're still on here, dude, drop the which Lloyd this is. And if you're gonna send in a trade, yes, please include first names so we have that information here.
I bet it's Marshawn, because if he's moving a running back,
That's what I'm
he's getting a running
thinking.
back back.
Rachaad White for Marshawn Lloyd, and he gets Foye Oluokun to go along with that.
Dynasty or redraft?
It says Dynasty League. Which side is better?
So Rachaad White for the next little while, with Mike Evans out until week 11. I think I saw Chris Godwin's out for the rest of the year. Everybody's going to run to the waiver wire, probably for Jalen McMillan. You're going to see a lot of Sterling Shepard. Kate Otten is going to be a guy, but I think Rachaad White's going to catch a lot of balls this year. So if you're a contender, I think from a running back perspective, he's going to outperform. I mean, Marshawn Lloyd's probably not going to play a lot this year, I wouldn't think. Now, is this a nice little buy window for Foye? Who was the other guy? Who was the other linebacker they were moving?
It was, well, Oluokun is the only one we know for sure in the
But
trade.
you said he was trading who?
Rachaad White and Noah Fant.
Yeah, I'm doing this.
You want White and Fant?
No, I want
Marshawn Lloyd and Foye
Marshawn
Oluokun.
Lloyd and
I
Foye.
agree. I agree. Just because, I mean, yeah, White should get more opportunity now, but how good is that offense going to be?
Exactly.
I mean, they just lost a ton.
They looked really bad yesterday.
They look bad, and also Bucky Irving's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And, John Tucker just ripped off 100, so
Yeah.
I mean, like, it could be shaky still.
Agreed.
So yeah, Foye, he could bounce back, and also like if he could go somewhere else after Jacksonville and be right back to old Foye.
I don't think that's that close to me. I think that's kind of a busting ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I do like Noah Fant a little bit. Noah Fant has seen his value.
I was going to say,
bounce
this
back
is
a little bit.
closer for me. Didn't Marshawn Lloyd go on IR, though, for the year? Or was that the guy they brought
That
back?
was A.J. Dillon.
A.J. Dillon. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
But I'm pretty sure he's banged up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is closer for me because I do like Fant a little bit, too, there in Seattle. But Oluokun is the best piece in the deal. I think he has the most staying power, so
And-
I would go with the Oluokun side.
And Lloyd does have nice upside, you know.
Yeah, he does.
We liked him coming in, 3rd-round pick. I mean, he'll get his opportunity at some point because also Josh Jacobs hasn't really blown. the
Yeah,
world
Josh
away.
Jacobs hasn't been great.
But
so.
you're trading two guys that are kind of what if. Like, honestly, Rachaad White and Noah Fant are kind of the same, to where it's like,
Yeah.
you don't know what weeks to start them.
Yeah.
They're going to have good weeks, but they're liable to be on your bench.
They're those like what the hex flex
Yeah.
types, you know,
Yeah.
where it's like I hope this goes well, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to rely on this guy.
Yeah, Noah Fant's behind DK, JSN, and Lockett. You know, and
Is
Kenneth
DK
Walker's
okay? He had a
DK's out for a few weeks.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
knee.
Knee
I
injury.
thought it was going to be worse than that. So that's good at least.
Yeah.
Jake Bobo.
Yeah, he's not out for the entire year. Thank God. We've had enough wide receiver injuries. Next up here from Brandon.
Wouldn't that be fun if it was for Devin Lloyd and Foye?
Maybe. Well, I'll keep an eye on the comments to see if he comes
Would it
back.
change your answer?
No,
No,
because you
no.
get the Jacksonville linebackers.
Do you want that right now?
I think I want Foye. I think I'm selling Devin Lloyd right now.
Yeah, so from Brandon, he says Bobby Wagner for Eric Kendricks. 1 point tackle, 5 point sack.
Dynasty?
It doesn't say. It's just Wagner for Kendricks, 1 point tackle, 5 point sack.
I mean, Wagner.
Wagner. Kendricks has been great, but
He gets banged up quite a bit.
I still would probably rather have Wagner if this is just a play for 2024.
Yeah. I'm fine riding Wagner off into the sunset. I feel like he's going to play another year after this. Why not?
Maybe 3 more.
I mean, he might be trying to set the all-time tackle record.
Well,
I don't know where he is
We need
on
to
that
check
list,
that
but
out.
he's got to be.
He's got to be getting up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, like, the Cowboys could be in the toilet. You could be seeing a lot more DeMarvion Overshown if
Right.
Kendricks has a hamstring. Like,
It was just a 1-year deal for Kendricks, I believe. So it's like, he got in a good situation where he landed with his former DC here in Dallas, but it's like, is he going to get 100% of the snaps?
So did Bobby Wagner.
Right. Yeah.
well, no, yeah. Going back to Seattle, I forget that sometimes that Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator in Seattle with Bobby Wagner.
true.
So both these guys are being utilized well.
But you just wonder, like, will Kendricks have an opportunity at 100% of the snaps next season, which I don't know. So give me Wagner. Wagner's going to be a top 10 linebacker for as long as he wants to be.
Yes.
So most tackles all time, Bobby Wagner is at 1,032. The tackle leader right now, London Fletcher, with an even 1,200.
Oh, damn.
All-time tackle leader is London Fletcher.
Carlos Dansby with 1,077.
What in the world?
Levante David with 1,066. Is this right?
I don't know if that's right.
That
Ray
doesn't
Lewis
sound
is
right.
on here.
Is that the all-time tackle leader for
Most
like
tackles
one specific
all
franchise?
time. No.
London Fletcher, number one. We're gonna vet this.
Maybe
more.
so. Maybe I didn't realize how.
Stat Muse.
Maybe he just played 16 seasons and
Antoine
wrapped
Bethea at
up.
995.
Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe.
So Wagner's like what, like 1,000 off?
Yeah. No.
He's
no.
150. What did you
Yeah.
say he was?
1032. So he's
1032.
about 160.
Dude, he may try and get that record.
Dude, he could
Another
definitely.
year.
2 years.
Two.
He's 2 years. He's got it. Because he's going to get 150 this year. So give him another 100.
Josh's gonna find that we're way off.
Yeah,
But that sounds
Brad
kinda
said
right,
that
though.
Fletcher was a machine, so never know. This trade from Angry Native Dynasty 16-team league, Van Ginkel for a 2025 high second-round pick.
That's
That's a
a
good
little
cash out.
rich. Yeah,
16 teams, so a high second could be the 18th, 19th overall pick.
yeah,
Is
definitely cashing out for that.
Is he giving or getting Van Ginkel?
It says Van Ginkel for
Oh.
a second, so I'm assuming he is cashing out on Van Ginkel to get the second-round pick.
second.
Yeah, get the second.
Yeah.
I think so
That's-
too.
that's
That's a nice
profit.
cash out.
It's
We
a
love
great
Van
cash out.
Ginkel, but always take a profit on IDPs when you
Yeah,
can.
that was a guy that was worth, market value wise, was worth like a fourth by the time the season started.
Waiver ad.
Waiver ad, exactly.
Yeah, I got him in the auction for $500K, I think. I mean, so
He's flexing. He's flexing.
I am flexing. I had a nice little auction.
Yeah, it was decent.
All right, so this one was a fun one, boys. Oliver says here, a lot of my league mates, this is not a specific trade question, X for Z, but it was a fun question nonetheless, and I thought we could have some fun with it. A lot of my league mates, including me, this is a German combined league. Start 10 offense, 10 IDP. That's just awesome. We love our international listeners. Oliver, thanks for being a fan of the show. Thanks for sending in this trade. And thanks for making IDP happen in Germany. That's amazing. Make sure you're listening to our boy Tobias Stark on the Mikes in Motion podcast. I'm sure you are already. But really struggle to evaluate the value of IDP tiers or player buckets compared to rookie picks. So he's looking at sort of these buckets or archetypes of players, and then how do those equate to draft picks? He says, can you give me a rule of thumb for what you could get for a second, a third, a fourth round pick? Are there any guidelines for new IDP managers? And he gave us some names, some examples of these kind of buckets he's talking about. So I'm curious what you all would say here. So he said, for example, big name linebackers like Quay Walker, Bobby Okereke. What's the equivalent value in terms of draft picks for big name linebackers? Not necessarily these guys, just a couple of examples.
I think before the season starts, both these guys would have been worth a second.
I agree.
Quay Walker probably still worth a little more at this point because he's younger. You can maybe get a second out of Quay still if someone believes long term. This is just his second year, right?
Yes.
So I mean, good start to his career. He's been productive. He's getting snaps, PFF grades. Hopefully they're not looking at those. But yeah, I mean, I think you could still get close to max value for Quay Walker. He hasn't been benched, nothing like that. Bobby Okereke, he's stunk it up compared to what he did his last season. And again, we talked about him earlier. Just I do worry long term about him. So if you can get a second, yeah, of course, do that. But I feel like he's probably worth like a third plus at this point.
Yeah, I think the big bucket of big name marquee linebackers, Bobo. I agree with Addy. Just in general, those guys are usually worth a second round pick. I will say, if you need a resource here, Oliver, we have the IDP trade calculator for free, theidpshow.com, just updated with 2027 picks. Shout out Jax for getting that updated for us. And then Adam has trade values in his Dynasty rankings as well.
I'll pull them up and we'll look at some of the guys that I have that are worth a second.
What do you think big name marquee linebackers? Let's throw out like Fred and Roquan, but just kind of this like 5 through.
And those two are in the first bucket.
Yes.
Those are late first.
A good rule of thumb we should just point out is that very few IDPs are worth a first round pick. I think you probably have like.
There's two. It's Fred and as far as linebackers go.
Yes.
But if you're looking at, there are 9 players that
I was going to say 8 to 10
at
worth
least
a
a first.
Yeah. And that rule probably holds true most of the time, even as player names come and go. There are just so few guys worth the first, Bobo. But what kind of price tag would you put on a big name LB 5 through 15 kind of guy?
I just go back every year to most of your offensive players are taken in the first round of your rookie draft. So pick 1 through 12 if you're in a 12-team league. It's going to be a bunch of offense. You're going to have wide receivers. You might have one tight end like we had Brock Bowers last year. Most years you have more running backs than we did last year. I think we only had 1 or 2 taken, but you've got a couple quarterbacks, especially if you're in Superflex. I mean, half of the first round could be quarterbacks. So then the second round is a lot of your like really elite first round in the NFL draft IDP players. So last year, your Jared Verse, your Dallas Turner, your Leatu Latu, your
Junior
Colson, your Jack Campbell's from 2 years ago. We were probably a little bit ahead of ourselves on like Peyton Wilson and stuff, but those are kind of the realm of where your elite IDPs go every single year. So, I mean, to me, like these guys, I think like, am I giving Quay Walker to go get Jared Verse? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Am I trading Bobby Okereke to go get Latu? Probably. So like all of these guys, if I can extract a second from them, I'm probably doing that. Now, a third is like...
It's right there on the borderline.
For sure.
Yeah, okay, so looking at the ranks, and I always suggest is getting in these ranks. I have literally trade values assigned to every single player. JOK, I have him worth a second plus a third.
Mm-hmm.
Terrell Bernard, I have him worth a second. Nick Bolton, he's worth a second. Maybe not in my eyes, but I know
yes,
my
in the
league
eyes
mates.
of the market.
Right. Foye Lucan, I still have him as a second. Aziz Al-Shair, I have him as a second. Quincy, we dropped down the list a little bit. Aziz was 21st overall. Now we're at 37th overall. We're still in the second tier, but we're getting close to these where they're worth a third. So Quincy Williams, Logan Wilson, Robert Spillane, TJ Edwards, Blake Cashman.
All worth a second.
All worth a second. And then if we look at players that are worth a third, right here on the borderline, Edrin Cooper, Junior Colson, which those guys could probably bump up. Jack Campbell, Ernest Jones, Bobby O, Frankie Louvu, Zaire Franklin. Zaire might be a little low, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
They're all right in this range.
Second plus at the high end, and then a third if they're kind of on the borderline there. Mm-hmm. So let's move to the next bucket of players. This was the older but productive edges like Harold Landry and Trey Hendrickson types. What are those kind of players worth? Again, this is always context specific in terms of, are you contending? Are you playing for the future?
I think Harold Landry's like a back end second. Trey Hendrickson's like a third to me.
I think if you are contending and you're looking for that like second edge rusher, you're like one edge rusher away, right? We talk about TJ Watt as kind of the final piece in these equations a lot of times. I think Trey Hendrickson's a nice little option you could drop in there. Probably cost you a second.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting the sack leader or one of the top 5 sack guys over the last 5 years for anything less than a second.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little bit like a discount TJ Watt, right? Because he has a massive ceiling. Like he bundles these sacks in these games. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm contending, I would feel okay doing that. I probably wouldn't go that route but I would try and get him for like a third plus
Yes,
a fourth.
I would try that too.
But yeah, I think if you're also like, if you're rebuilding, he's an obvious sell, right? I mean, it's so much of his production is just sack dependent. While the tackling has gotten better and like the floor is better for him now, it's just like he's getting up there in age. So it's like I feel like we've seen the very best of Trey Hendrickson.
He's V1 of like Will McDonald. Will McDonald is V2 of what
Right.
Trey Hendrickson is, right?
Yep.
Just purely a pass rusher. What about this? So yeah, I think second to third based on like who the edge is that we're talking about and the time of the year when you're getting these guys, right? What about
Landry? Isn't someone I'm probably going to try and go out of my way to acquire either. He kind of fits into just that group of pass rushers where they're all kind of the same, right? Like, I mean, if I have Kyle Van Noy, I feel like that's going to be who do I start every week, him or Landry? Same thing with like,
You're going to be streaming him.
There's
What's the
a
matchup look
there's
like?
a premium I
Right.
think you have to pay for just start every week guys.
Right.
And I would put Hendrickson in that bucket.
and there's like, as far as like, yeah, I agree. As far as like edge rushers, defensive linemen, there's like 8 to 10 of them.
I was gonna say it's not a lot.
Not even that. I mean, now that Aiden's gone, Josh Hines Allen is
I was
a shell.
thinking like 6 to 8 probably.
Yeah, maybe that.
Every week starters.
Micah
no
Parsons
matter
out
what.
right now.
Yeah.
Like it's
grim.
And then Bosa hasn't really been Bosa this season.
Because even guys like Brian Burns that we like that are turning it on, is he an every week locked and loaded
Right.
starter in like a 2 defensive end league?
Yeah.
Probably.
feels like he's on a little hot stretch right now.
But
right?
he's that DN2. I feel like if he's my DN1, maybe I feel a little less great about that.
Got a little bit of Hines Allen in him, right, where he can
Yes.
disappear for stretches.
Yes. What about the recent relevancy bucket? Guys like Tyrell Dotson, right? This is a guy who has popped this year. We kind of saw it coming if you were paying attention this offseason. We were very high on Tyrell Dotson, but what do you go out and pay for a guy like a Tyrell Dotson who has just popped on the scene?
Buying?
Yeah, if you were going to go buy Tyrell Dotson. Or I guess if you were going to sell.
I mean, so like I'm continuing.
Or you cashing out
I'm
for it.
continuing this season. I feel like he's going to cost me a third.
I was going to say a
Right.
third-round pick.
And that's probably fine. I mean, he I feel like he's going to linger. He feels like one of those players that's going to keep being relevant for us.
This is the kind of player, this bucket, because I think EJ Speed comes to mind as
Same
well,
thing,
right?
yeah.
I gave you a 2026 third-round pick for EJ. This is where these kind of guys, I would like to go a year out from the coming up draft.
And also, it helps if the opponent is loaded at linebacker, right?
Yes,
They're
as
more
you
willing
were.
to deal, and be a little loosey goosey with the values and stuff.
I don't really need him anyways.
Right, and I kind of wish I had EJ Speed now that we're 7 weeks in.
Yeah,
Everybody's
it's
just
tough.
mangled.
Yeah.
It's hard in these streets, man.
Tyrell Dodson and Caden Ellis are two completely different players to me, though. I mean, Caden Ellis to me is like, do I want to acquire Caden Ellis? You know?
I think
Yeah.
that the idea here was just the bucket of like recently relevant guys.
So Caden Ellis to me would be like,
4th.
Yeah.
maybe a 5th even.
Yeah.
So what about Julian Love, Cam Bynum, Grant Delpit types, these top 15-ish DBs?
I kind of do like Julian Love quite a bit. I mean, he's been a stud. Like, you look at the log, that dude's a baller, and Seattle loves him. They just paid him very well. So I mean, I'm okay giving like at least a third for him.
I would agree.
Like, I'm not going to go give you a second, but I wouldn't argue that he's not maybe worth that if he keeps doing what he's doing. I mean, he's been like, I'm pretty sure the guy's finished top 15 the past 3 years.
Yeah, we talked
something
about
like
that.
that.
Yep.
So I mean,
One of the few guys that's done that, I would say.
slept on.
Yep. So, I'm not going to pay a lot, especially if you're in a sleeper DB league. But in a safety designated league with cornerbacks split out.
Yeah, safety sucks right now. It
Yeah,
really
it's
does.
bad. If you can get a guy that you feel good about, Bobo, that's worth
And
something.
Julian Love is like, I feel great about him.
One, you're right. The part in here, I don't know if you wrote this, Josh, but the top 15-ish DBs, I mean, that changes so much from year in to year out.
Yeah, I'm not paying. On most cases, I want to pay a fourth.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of DBs that, repeat a safety one season from one year to the next. I mean, it really doesn't
It has
happen.
the most turnover of every position.
Look at Jalen Petre last year. Buda Baker's having a good year, but some years he's just kind of down. Look at Minka Fitzpatrick. It's just like
Falling
we're
off
just
a
talking
cliff.
about dropping him. So I don't know. I think DBs are the ones you just kind of stream and you just kind of maybe look on the waiver wire.
I mean, Nick Cross is like, what, the 9th most prolific tackler?
I
That
mean,
was a
like-
dude taken legitimately in like the 28th round of best ball drafts.
XFL is gross for me. I'm starting Jason Pinnock and Can't even tell you who my other
Brandon
man is.
Jones and Minka Fitzpatrick over there.
Who you starting?
Safety is
Tony Adams,
Yep.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Yep.
It was Amani Hooker for a stretch. Jordan
It's
Whitehead.
hard, dude.
Tyke Smith. It is makes you want to pull your hair out.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, Oliver. Hope that helps. Like we said, the IDP
Get you
show.
Julian Love, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
go get you
I'm-
Julian Love, Oliver.
He's being slept on. He's being disrespected. Dude has been a stud.
He's good, and he just
No one else has done that.
Didn't he
I
just
mean,
get a contract extension as well?
Like 3 years.
Yeah, so pretty
30-ish
nice.
maybe.
Very secure. We
Yeah.
love the defensive coordinator there and the head coach. So
And those-
Usage is great there for
Yeah,
him.
those
Yeah.
LBs are mid.
Oliver,
yeah.
theidpshow.com. Again, trade calculator plus Adams ranks, $5 a month. If you want to jump in there and take a look, get a better sense of what IDPs are worth. But the number one rule, very few IDPs are worth a first.
Right.
And in very few situations does it make sense to go pay a first for those guys. It's typically, this is the final piece kind of context where it's like, I'm a contender, I'm making a push, let me go get a Fred, let me go get a TJ Watt to put my team over the top and really try to go win this thing.
In a lot of my leagues right now, there's a big fat middle. You know, there's a lot of teams right now that are 3-4 to 5-2.
Yep.
You know, there might be a couple outliers. There might be one team that's kind of good. There might be one team that's kind of bad. But it seems like fantasy this year, everybody's kind of squished together. So the moves that you make really like right now, if you can win the next couple of weeks pushing towards the playoff, you know, most fantasy leagues, their trade deadline is set up for like early November. Next couple weeks, probably.
Yeah, I mean, we bumped ours back. I think it's beginning of December.
I'm trying to just think like most leagues are early November, so you kind of got to be making some moves now.
That's why we wanted to do this show now
Yeah.
because we know trade deadlines can be early for some leagues, and this is the time. I mean, we're starting to see it. You can feel it. I'm sure if you're watching, you have leagues like this where folks are saying, "Hey, everyone's for sale. Come give me some picks. I'm playing for 2025," sort of thing. So, hope that helps, Oliver. We got a great question here from Jessie Flores in the comments. Hi guys, love the show. Thank you, Jessie. I offered up a 2025 first and a second and a 2026 first and second. So a first and second the next 2 seasons for Micah Parsons and targeting an expiring Cooper Kupp. 1 point per tackle, 7 points when landing a sack.
No.
Too rich to
No.
make a run?
2 first.
2 first and 2 seconds for Parsons and Kupp.
Shoo-wee.
That's a little rich for me.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm withdrawing that trade as fast as I can.
Yeah, Parsons being banged up, Cooper Kupp, coming off of, he was on IR, right? No, they didn't put him on IR, but still coming back after a lengthy absence, might be getting traded.
Might be on our soon.
Also, from a timing perspective, now's the time to buy Micah Parsons and Cooper Kupp, but that's
That's full price.
Absolutely.
You're paying sticker price for guys that
a
don't
healthy
warrant it
Kupp
right
and a
now.
healthy Micah
That's
Parsons
after
price.
week 1 prices right there.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just a quick comment here from Brad. He says, is EJ going to be back this week or is Stewart worth a waiver bid? We talked about this a little bit in the recap show that you guys will hear later tonight or tomorrow.
He probably worth a bid.
Yeah, put in a bid, but I'm not going to bank on starting the EJ Speed replacement. If you want to try to figure it out, go for it. I'm just going to wait for EJ Speed to come back. To answer your question, I don't know if he's coming back. We'll see.
No EJ Speed, though? You feel comfortable rolling him out?
Grant Stewart?
Yeah.
Yes, if we know that he's the guy. Yeah, that's what I think sucks right now is we just don't know because it was Carlis was in the mix. Alubi was in the mix.
This
Probably
game,
won't know, though.
I know, that's the thing. It's if you want to put in $1 or $2, but don't be the guy that goes and blows your fab or your waiver priority to go get Grant Stewart.
this game this week could get out of hand though against the Texans. I mean, it could be over pretty quick.
We shall see. It's for the division lead.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of crazy. All right, so there you go, boys.
What?
Let's see.
What the Texans have, what are they, like 3-3?
How?
They've struggled. CJ Stroud's been,
Colts are 4-3. I
Wow.
think the Texans are 4-3 as well.
wow.
I'm pretty sure.
How many
I'll
wins
double
did
check
Flacco
that.
get?
1-1.
No, I mean I think we're 4-1 in the last 5 games.
But I mean, Flacco won 1 game for you, 2 games.
I think so. Yeah,
Wow.
because he played this was A-Rich's first game back. We beat the Dolphins.
You know, Steichen was just like, all right, Anthony's
Yeah.
back. He's
Yay.
healthy.
This is our guy.
Come on.
These are our
This is our
Colts.
future. We love them.
Yeah, let's take a look. So yeah, both teams. No, Texans 5-2, Colts 4-3. So I guess it would be if the Colts win, they're both 5-3, and I don't think we've played the. No, we haven't played the Texans yet. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, let's look at the schedule.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a little
Weird world.
little surprised that we have a chance at the. Well, it helps when the Titans and Jags are in your division, and it's suddenly just become a 2-team race. So yes, we actually played the Texans week 1, so we would be split with them, 1-1. But I saw a tweet. Division lead is up for grabs this weekend. So, but yeah, to answer your question, Bobo, we lost to the Jags in week number 5. We beat the Titans, and then we just beat the Dolphins. I think Flacco might have been the starter. Yeah, he was the starter. He came in relief of Richardson in week 4 against the Steelers.
And y'all won that game.
We did.
Wow.
So
I'm going to give 2 wins to Flacco. Joe gets 2 wins.
2 wins. I agree. Yeah, he came in because he played the majority of that game. A couple quick ones here,
probably
boys.
Probably a playoff team with Joe. Maybe right on the borderline.
Yeah, it's just
Or you could miss it with Richardson.
We could. I mean, it's look, Colts fans are in a tough spot because it's like if you want to win now, Flacco's definitely the better pick.
You feel like Richardson's trending towards a bust?
He didn't look good in this game, but
Richardson's weird, man. You
He's-
see some downfield stuff, you're like, gosh, that's a crazy throw, and then he just misses.
he's just
got
to raise the floor. We got to remember how we felt about Josh Allen after his rookie
Oh
season.
wow, look at the parallel. he's
I'm
making.
just saying, athletic freak, raw,
True.
but
People did hate him to
But
start.
we do have a good coach. He's gotten 9 starts, y'all. Like, let's just be patient. The only thing I care about this season, this is not a Super Bowl winning
I'd be
team,
great
even if
9
you're
starts
starting
in.
Joe Flacco the rest of the season. So, like, let's just see what we got in Richardson. That's what you got to figure out. Yeah. So, trade here from our boy Johnny the Greek, 2026 second-round pick for Khalil Mack, contender that just lost Aiden Hutchinson.
And also, this is a league. I'm pretty sure this is Unreal Tournament where I think Johnny's probably leading points for and has the best overall record. And this is a league where we start 4 defensive linemen. So that boosts these guys quite a bit. I'm fine with it,
It's probably a tad rich, but you understand it.
And you're coming off losing Aiden Hutchinson. You're tilting a little bit,
Yep.
And I do think Mack is about to have a huge second half. So
It'd be rich for a 25. 26 is fine.
Yeah, whatever. We can get that back. Johnny will get that back. I mean,
His
you don't
team
care about
is
those damn picks.
well,
hard to
that's,
keep up with.
if he plays well, that could be a late first anyways, or a
It
late
will
second,
be,
I guess.
yeah. Johnny's set up to where that's going to be a late first over the next 2 years. So
Yeah, or a late second because it was a 2026
sorry,
second-round pick. So a trade here from our boy Jeff Pomazal, 12-team league. He traded away a late 2025 first for Fred Warner and Budda Baker. Start 2 linebackers and 2 flex each week.
sure.
I think that's nice. I would give a first for Fred, period, and then you get Budda Baker, who's been a top 12 safety on top of that. I think that's a nice little deal.
Yeah,
Bobo?
I'm for it.
You want the first?
I'm trying to make sense of the 2 LB and 2 flex. So
I think he's saying
is that all they're starting IDP
no.
wise?
He probably starts like 2 defensive linemen,
Okay.
2 DBs.
Yeah.
I mean, but with those shallow rosters, I mean,
Yeah.
you do kind of want to hold on to those picks a little more.
For sure. It's okay. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah,
I mean, a first for Fred straight up is
it's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair. It's a fair trade.
And you get Budda Baker thrown in as well.
But
which
you
is a
got to
nice
know that
boost
those
for this
waivers
season.
are rich.
Yeah, I would imagine probably Blake Cashman was being
Spillane's
picked up.
around,
Yeah, this offseason, like I'm sure there was loaded.
You got
full of talent.
24, LB's rostered. We had 2 flexes, so you're going to run some LBs in the flex too, but I don't know. It's okay.
So our boy is back. It was Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah.
To wrap things up
Yeah,
here.
then good.
That's what we thought.
Marshall. He says Marshall Lloyd, but yeah, Marshawn Lloyd.
That's good.
Plus a Lewican. Another question I already have: Devin Lloyd. What can I get for him? Looking for running back or tight end.
Jalen Wright. Go trading for Jalen Wright.
Yeah, try that.
Why not?
Try that. Not much, like pick wise.
Blake Corum.
Yeah, there you go. Something like that.
Something that's
Just
kinda
because
like
there's not a
forgotten
lot
right
of
now.
excitement for Devin Lloyd. You're
Trey
not going to
Benson.
be able to cash out. He's not a buzzy
Trey
name.
Benson's a good one.
Just some forgotten RB names right now. If you don't want to pick, if you want like a little RB dart throw, Jonathan Brooks is probably too much because I think Jonathan Brooks
too
is already
much.
coming back.
If you're getting a pick, I mean, hopefully you can get a third, but I just don't feel like the market's gonna be very hot for him. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have a lot of people wanting to buy Devin Lloyd.
But if you're getting a Lewican, I think you're smart to go ahead and
Yeah.
cash out on Lloyd while you can.
The whole Ventrell Miller stuff too is
Right.
That's really hurt Lloyd.
Yeah, Boo Bam clarified here. 12-team league. We can start up to 4 linebackers each week.
Because I mean,
So that does
That's
diminish the waivers considerably then, if there's potentially 48 linebackers starting each week.
Yeah.
So
There's just no defensive lineman taken.
yeah, they're all Hutchinson's on waivers. It's like, no, we want the
A sack
LBs
is like
and the
2
DBs.
points.
All right, well, thank you all so much for tuning in.
No, Josh, give us your trade.
I was trying to wrap us up. 'cause we're
No,
running a
let's
little
hear it.
long
I want to
here.
roast you real quick before we get off the air.
Okay,
In the
so-
XFL, Josh traded Kobe Turner, Tyrese Knight, a 25 fourth, and a 26 third for Chris Jones, 1 year left on his contract, and Eric Kendricks, who's expiring. The money was about even. Adam, what's your take on this one?
I like this for the rebuild. Josh bought himself a headache. He has Jalen Carter on the bench that he has no idea.
Yes, and I started Chris Jones, and Jalen Carter goes nuts. So
Don't give yourself a headache, folks.
yeah, I'm just hoping to give myself some optionality if one of these guys gets hurt, and Chris Jones tends to play well late in the season. So this gives me 4 really solid linebackers that I like.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I mean, I think you're gonna be pleased with Kendricks the second half. He's gonna probably be like a top 24 linebacker. Chris Jones is just Chris Jones. We know all about him. He's boom bust. But again, you have Jalen Carter, so you bought yourself a headache.
Trading?
But you could trade Chris Jones if you wanted to. If you do decide that you're just gonna roll with Jalen Carter, but it's nice insurance. But
Yeah.
I think it's a fair trade. It's what I would expect to receive if I was trading away Chris Jones and Eric Kendricks to a
Yeah,
contender.
and the players were just sort of like basically
whatevers.
Undrafted Kobe Turner,
fill in
Tyrese Knight you picked in the
player
fifth
for
round,
player.
It's a third
swaps.
and a fourth for Jones and for Kendricks.
right? And then
Yeah.
probably some roster cloggers.
I wanted to look up here and see because I feel like Jalen Carter has been.
Sick.
I mean, he's been a little up and down as well, though.
Lately, he's been really good though.
I was gonna say
2 sacks the last game.
Of course he blows up when he's on the bench. But let's take a look here at the young man. So game log, he's had 3 really nice games: 20 points, 15 points, 25 points, and then 4 points, 0 points, 4 points. So
It's just a position though.
yeah,
man.
I mean
Who's
boom bust
playing
as
great
well,
right now?
but just a little bit of optionality at defensive tackle there in case Carter goes down. I've got Chris Jones to plug in because otherwise I'm looking at Byron Murphy or trying to stream this thing off waivers. So there we go, folks. Thank you all so much for sending in your trades. Like we said, this show literally does not happen if you guys do not send in your trades. So thank you. We love breaking them down. If you've got any more, drop them in the comments of this video.
I did make a big trade.
Would you?
I
Yes,
made a
you
big
did.
one, a very big one.
Share real quick here.
I
as we wrap
traded
up.
away my 2026 first. We're going to assume that's pick 109 to 112.
There you go. Late first.
Typically is. I've only missed playoff once in this league. I got Quincy Williams, and I got 2/3 in 2025.
Yeah, that's nice. I felt when I saw the initial price, I was like, gosh, that's a lot to pay for Quincy Williams.
Yep.
But you get 2/3 back.
I can potentially hit on these thirds maybe, and then hopefully they're going to be worth more than the third.
So, and we know you love Quincy.
Yeah.
Like you are, I think you're higher on Quincy probably than the market is.
Probably so, but also I think it's a real strategy to load up at linebacker and just
That's why I went and got Kendricks, man.
and just make a room that no one else can compete with. Everyone's chasing offense all the time. Sometimes I like to kind of just let's go pick some of these offensive guys, some of these guys that I know have massive upside, and Quincy's one of those types. So it probably is a little steep, but I mean, there's only so much I can get that's going to help my roster with the first, right? So Quincy Williams, I think, is an immediate starter and impact for me, and big play upside. I got Roquan Fred and Quincy Williams and Trevin Wallace now as the linebackers.
Not too shabby.
Pretty good.
It's an arms race in our division, Bobo.
Yeah, y'all are in a who else is in y'all's division?
Charlie. who's
Charlie.
right there as well.
Yeah, and Josh was making moves. Sometimes you got to just keep up a little bit.
Keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Keep up with the Joshes in this instance.
I lost Rashid Shaheed. It's punt return yard, punt and kick returns, so that was devastating. But
Let me give you my real quick big one I've done.
Oh, yes, please.
Donut League, which is Nico's league. Full IDP, full offense. So I traded Hassan Reddick. This was last week. Traded Nick Chubb, Cole Kmet, Tank Bigsby, and a 26 second. This is a Devy league for Sam Laporta and Derrick Henry.
Wow. Is this a tight end premium league?
No.
Okay.
And my other tight end is George Kittle.
trade away what?
Hassan
Traded
Reddick.
what now?
Hassan Reddick, Nick Chubb, Cole Kmet, Bigsby in a 26-second for Laporta and Derrick Henry.
It's just junk. Just a bunch of junk.
Let's wrap it up on that
Just
one.
a bunch of junk. Good job,
Get
whoever
in
did that
leagues
one.
where
Good
you
job.
can trade a bunch of junk.
Good job, person. You got your head blown off.
That was the offer.
Bobby's going to contend.
Not even busted, just straight up blown off.
Never
It's
there to
gone.
begin with, I'm afraid.
I won that league last 2 years. I wanted Henry. Henry's scoring has been hilarious.
Why are y'all letting him do this?
Come on.
I don't get it.
He can't
I don't
keep-
get
I
it.
need that he can't keep getting away with the
I
drop
don't
on
get
the
it.
board.
I don't get it.
I am worried about Johny and Unreal. I don't know if anybody's going to keep up with him in there this year. That kid is scoring some crazy points.
Doing well. Smart guy.
All right, we're cresting the hill at an hour, folks. Thank you all again. We will try to do another one of these before the season wraps up, maybe for those of you with later trade deadlines, but hope you enjoyed this episode of the IDP Trade Show. If you're watching live, we'll have the recap video on the channel as well. If you're listening in the audio feed, thanks for checking out this episode. We'll be back next week with the Week 8 recap, but until then, y'all take care, and we'll see you soon.